Welcome, guys, and thank you for investing some of your time to meet a very dear friend of mine. I've known John Kinnear for well over 10 years now, and in that time, he's earned millions of dollars as a professional in business and marketing. I've asked him to share some of his time to discuss a new technology and details around a project he's been working on for more than 18 months now. This project is called Four Oceans, and it's preparing to launch in North America this coming week. So thank you for your time, John. Please go ahead and bring us up to speed on the world of Four Oceans.
Hey, thanks very much, Shane. I appreciate the opportunity to share some details with you. It's been an awful lot of work, but we're finally about to get rewarded by being able to turn this new engine on and share it with the world. So I'm very excited. I've been prepping in all throughout Asia, Australia. Finally got back to Canada to do some work in North America, and I'm really excited that this day has finally arrived. So I'm excited to be able to share some of these details with you and your friends. What I'll do is I'll blast through these details as quickly as I can to make the most effective use of everybody's time. And so I guess the best way for me to do that is to start with slide one. What I want to do is share the vision of the company with everyone really quickly. It's important that you understand that there's two distinct travel components to this company, and I'll show you in a minute how these two very unique travel components, or rather business components, live together in this unique environment. The reality is, regardless of where I go to work, I'm finding that the world around us is just becoming more and more stressful. Cost of living is rising, even in developing countries. I was recently spending a bunch of time in Hong Kong. The cost just to survive in Hong Kong it's absolutely incredible. And so as we start to share this concept, these ideas with people, I'm getting very similar response everywhere I go. It doesn't matter whether it's a developing country or a very developed country like the United States or somewhere in Europe or Canada or Australia. Our mission really is to provide a life-changing curriculum. Not only life-changing curriculum, though, but be able to give people an opportunity to really live their best life. And in doing so, also experience all that travel and exploring the world has to offer. So our primary offering is designed specifically to help individuals become the best version of themselves. And I know that may sound a little unusual or perhaps even a little silly or preachy, but that's not the case at all. I know, for example, Shane, when you started in business yourself, you really took the idea of mentorship and personal growth seriously.
I did.
The reality is none of us know, what's the best way of putting this? We don't know what we don't know. And so young business people evolve very quickly because it's experience that teaches us what works and what doesn't work. And believe it or not, we actually learn a lot more from our mistakes than we do our successes. And mistakes can be very expensive. One of the best ways to start to circumnavigate costly mistakes in business, especially if you're a person who is leaving your work environment to do something on your own, to be your own boss for the very first time. Many people can't afford to make mistakes. Most of us really are living paycheck to paycheck in some cases, and there's so many people, even in North America, that if they were without 4 weeks of pay, it would really have quite a devastating effect on their life. So the idea really is to create distinctive curriculum. In this case, we've got more than 30 very high-level thought leaders, individuals that many people listening have probably heard of, and you'll see some names in just a minute. And you'll have an opportunity to watch some videos on these thought leaders and what they bring to the table when you have a look at Shane's site after this presentation. But guys like Zig Ziglar, who's now passed away, Jim Rohn, you've all heard of Tony Robbins, obviously, from all his late-night TV campaigns. And people like this, they are very valuable to young entrepreneurs or budding business people that really want more out of life. So we've created an environment where these individuals can teach us as effectively as possible, but more than that, we've made sure that this environment is one that's going to follow us, whether it's on our tablets or our smartphones as well, so we can have this advice and education everywhere we go. One of the connections I think it's important to make is not just business people that firmly root themselves in a habit of personal growth and entrepreneurship and constant improvement. But it's also some of the people that we admire the most, whether it's people in sports or in film, or whether it's people that own or operate the companies that we respect the most, the brands that we're most familiar with. Uh, Everybody who is a super achiever understands the importance of making correct decisions, proper mentorship, and the role that help has to play with correct decisions. Often we hear about overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. It just doesn't exist. We, as the general public, just don't become aware of some of these super achievements until these people have hit the home run. But we didn't see the 15 years or 10 years or 5 years of sweat equity that went into their skill development before we became aware of it on television or on the radio or in the news. So one of the things that this system is going to have is thought-provoking leaders from all over the world. And imagine someone like Zig Ziglar, or someone like Jim Rohn, and if you haven't heard of these gentlemen, you certainly will soon. When you listen to them, it's really, at the risk of sounding a little silly, it's nourishment for the mind. You'll recognize immediately the value, even if you've never been someone to listen to this type of material before. You'll immediately recognize the value in it and how it can have an impact on you and your life. So gentlemen like this, for example, who are pioneers in these industries, well, when we translate this to Portuguese, or we translate this to Russian or to Chinese or Indonesian, Bahasa Indonesia, we're going to help individuals all over the world have access to some of these brilliant thought leaders. But more than that, we're also going to give English speakers in North America an opportunity to hear from some of the high-level thinkers that have grown up in those countries. The best-selling author in mainland China, who really has a voice that needs to be heard, something that could really benefit us, that right now we have no access because none of us speak Mandarin. So this is really the idea of this learning management system. Now it's going to be anchored with a free offering that you'll have access to at the end of this presentation by a gentleman by the name of Shawn Achor. Now Shawn is Oprah's favorite psychologist. And the interesting thing about Shawn is he's an expert in what we would call happiness. His book, The Happiness Advantage, is what got him on Oprah several times and is a favorite guest to have back. If you're familiar with TED Talks, it's TED.com. Some of these brilliant thought leaders and idea promoters are on TED.com, and Shawn actually has the most viewed TED video on that site right now. You can go watch that. That's 7 minutes. It'll really give you a short and quick feel for what Shawn has to offer. You'll also get a feel for what Shawn has to offer when you accept this free offering from Shane afterwards, called The Happiness Advantage. And it's a 21-day habit that you can listen to on a daily basis. It only takes 5 minutes, and see what kind of an impact 5 minutes of this material can have on your life. So Shawn is at the corner of our learning management system, and we're also going to be translating Shawn into languages all around the world as well. Shawn himself has been to almost 50 countries sharing this information and this message that the way that most of us have been educated and informed, and this is not starting in school, this is starting far before school when our parents were coaching us. The world that our parents and our grandparents lived in is very different than the world that we're living in. And the formula that we've been taught to be happy, even if that's not the way the message was delivered, maybe the message was delivered in this way: work hard, find a secure and safe job to create some wealth, and then have some happiness, take vacations and drive a fancy car, etc. Well, it's actually a backwards formula. And the nice thing is now, scientists like Shawn, by the way, he's a Harvard professor, and he's been studying happiness and the neuroscience of happiness for 12 years. So the data that they're receiving now in their research is when they actually are monitoring brain cerebral cells and how neurons fire, is this isn't how or this isn't what you do to make yourself happy. The reality is happiness is a choice, and we can choose to be happy first, and that has such a significant impact on our life and the way that our life unfolds that it's really quite mind-blowing. In fact, some of the research you'll learn later on was taking things as far as monitoring doctors who were notoriously positive versus doctors who typically managed stress not as well, or maybe were a little more negative in their hospital environment, and actually learning that the positive, open-minded doctors were actually diagnosing patients faster. Can you imagine that? Diagnosing patients faster and diagnosing patients 18% more accurately. Well, now that's almost 20%. That's 1/5 better chance of a proper diagnosis just from a doctor who carries this himself a little bit more positively around the hospital. It's truly amazing. So I talked about the delivery method. We want to make sure this curriculum is available to everyone anytime they want access to it. You may have 5 minutes to spend while you're standing in the bank lineup. We'll pull up one of these 5-minute videos and take a couple quizzes, which unlocks the next video, and you just continually progress through this library. Now, that's the product that Four Oceans is delivering to the world. One of the benefits that Four Oceans is falling on or is focusing on is travel. And there's a very specific reason for this. But before I get to that reason, I just want to share a couple statistics in regards to travel. Most of you are probably already aware of this anyway because, well, we all love to travel. Some people aren't aware of the health benefits there. When you take a look at the statistics on the screen right now, 54% of couples that travel experience a serious rejuvenation of relationships when they go. 82% of business travelers go and they actually are elevating their well-being. But this third one is truly amazing. Reducing your risk of heart attack by upwards of 50% if you're a regular vacationer. Just de-stressing. And we're starting to realize now how much of a killer stress is in the 40s and 50s and 60s. We just didn't know. So this idea of taking travel to you and then you taking this to your friends, the significant benefits that come from this are probably can't be overstated. So Vacationar is a word you're probably not familiar with, and that's because it's trademarked by Four Oceans. The idea is taking this learning management curriculum of these thought-provoking leaders and us taking vacations with them. Now, that's not the only travel element we have, of course, but that's our premier travel element. It's called a Vacationar. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, they happen in Salzburg, they happen in Hong Kong, and in New York. They even happen in Machu Picchu. So I hiked Machu Picchu a few years ago. I got altitude sickness, but it was an amazing experience. And I could only imagine how much more rounded that experience would have been for me if 2 or 3 days of that trip were with a National Geographic expert on Incan civilizations. So I really felt like I got the most out of going halfway around the world and hiking into the mountains to discover this lost city of the Incas. It was just mind-blowing. So whether we're going to learn about finances in New York or Hong Kong, whether we're going for Mozart's birthday at the Mozart Festival in Salzburg, Austria, there's literally dozens and dozens and dozens of different Vacationars, from adventure to experiential to knowledge-based. Our flagship, of course, is with backed up a slide on you. Our flagship is with Sean, you've already learned about, and also a gentleman by the name of Chris Gardner. For those of you who have seen the movie was called The Pursuit of Happiness, and Will Smith was taking care of his son in that movie. Well, that was obviously based on a true story, and Chris Gardner is the individual whose story was being told, and that's the gentleman you see on the screen there. So, for example, in October, we have a Vacationar in Cancun. This is a 4.5-star resort in Cancun, all-inclusive, and we're actually taking vacations with these guys and these young ladies, and we're experiencing this trip with them, not just sitting in an audience and listening for an hour or two during the course of the weekend. Happiness Vacationars happen all over the world, and so that'll be the closest to us in North America and the one that's coming up the soonest. Now, happiness really begins with a free offering. The owner and founder of Four Oceans firmly believes that if we're going to share anything with our friends, that conversation shouldn't begin with us asking for money or asking for a favor. It really should begin with us giving something of value away for free. And this is where this whole process begins, with giving away the 21 Days of Happiness, the Sean Acor curriculum that Shane will be sharing with you later on. Now, the 3 different memberships we're getting involved in Four Oceans. The first gives us access to Happiness TV 4.0. So this is all of Sean's material. This is material specifically from Chris Widener, Tony Jerry, but also this one-time setup fee of $197 comes right back to you in a $200 credit for any Vacationar anywhere in the world. So you take that whenever you want to, and for $19.97 a month, you start to access this curriculum, like I said, on your smartphone or your tablet or your computer at home. There's an elite membership that is a one-time setup fee of $300. And what you're going to receive for that, and you can also see, obviously, there's a $47 or $49 a month maintenance fee. Now, you're going to receive everything that I just mentioned in the Happy curriculum or the Gold curriculum, but you're also going to receive, pardon me, VIP access to all vacationers. You're also going to see access to the Success Training Network, and this is the 30-plus high-level thinkers that we were mentioning earlier. It's a TV network that you'll have access to anytime that you want. And then you'll also have access to what we call a vacation a resort card. And a resort card gives you access to actually 17,000 plus resorts around the world. It's a private search engine. One of the reasons that we can get these prices is because we're not competing head-to-head with Expedia and Hotels.com, et cetera. So we're not bound by the legals that those companies bring with them, because they're so large and so global. By having a private search engine, we're able to offer net pricing that you normally would never have access to before, and we don't rock the boat. So having this $300 credit is something that you can take with you anywhere in the world. This, as an example, this is in Puerto Vallarta, beautiful town. If you have never been before, this particular resort, a published price that you would see at Hotels.com or Expedia would be over $700. In this private engine, it's only around $350. Add your resort card discount, and you're only paying $47. And this is for a 1 week stay. You're paying $47. So I don't know, you're paying $7 a night. Not a bad deal. If you're on the other side of the world, or you want to go that far, you can also, this particular Shangri-La Bali Beach Resort, published there, $888. The resort card engine price is about a third off, so $529. Use my resort card, and for $229, I'm staying in Bali at a private resort for a week. Okay, now that's two of literally hundreds and hundreds of examples that you can find as you start to search all over the world. But the flagship is something called Four Oceans Explorer. Now, this is also private portal, and this is one of the things that makes this so remarkable, is you'll have access to searches in this private portal that you just can't find anywhere else. So not only are you going to have the most obvious, if you take a look at these drop-down boxes, you see accommodations, you see concierge special services. In fact, I'll just have a quick look through some of these. If you look at accommodations, for example, you start to see cruises, resort condos. Some resort condos, you're going to find truly amazing prices in here. Mini vacations, so if you only have 2 or 3 or 4 nights to take off for a weekend. Exotic adventures and excursions, luxury homes and villas. I'm not sure if you remember looking into those, Shane, but we were looking at obviously 5-star, 6,000 square foot homes in, let's say, Phuket on the island of in Thailand, and you were paying, a fraction of what you would pay if you contacted a homeowner or that agency directly. But more than that, take a look at concierge. You see private yachts, private jets. If you move over, you can see air and train and car rentals. And as you move down on the last one, there's all sorts of remarkable resources. One of the things that I liked the most when I was looking here the first time, obviously, we know the margins in travel are paper thin. I was reading an article recently when I was flying back from Hong Kong, and China Eastern Airline was announcing publicly that they're operating on a 1.45% profit margin. It's just ridiculously low profit margin. But the costs of doing business for those airlines and the competition for those airlines is so great. So obviously, we're not offering a discount on flights. That's not possible. But what we're doing is we're giving you such a broad search within the whole world of flying. When I typically fly back and forth between Hong Kong and Vancouver, if I know some dates and I book far enough advance, I'm usually paying about $950. If I forget and book at the last minute, which is almost always, I'm paying about $1,350. I found a flight after looking in about 30 seconds in here for $430 from Vancouver to Hong Kong. So now that's not a 50% discount. That's just this engine finding something that I probably wouldn't have found on my own. That said, though, this Wyndham engine is private to us exclusively. Now, Wyndham is the largest resort company in the world, resorts all over every part of the world. And we'll have last minute deals. We'll have Wyndham condo access and some amazing stuff. And if you don't know, Wyndham is 4- and 5-star resorts. Some of them are all-inclusive resorts, so really high-end vacations. Same thing when you have a look at the private yachts or the private jets, you may think sitting there that this is something that would not be accessible to the average person. And it's true. It wouldn't be accessible to me. My travel budget usually is pretty significant because it's required for me to do my work. I probably spent over $200,000 last year in travel, and I wouldn't be using private jets. The cost is just too inhibitive. It would start reducing my effectiveness because I'd be wasting money, spending money on private jets. That said, in here, because of the access to this engine, sometimes I could choreograph meetings with 4 or 5 friends and choose to be on a private jet for the same price that I would be on a regular fare. And the same thing with the private yachts as well. So here's a really, really quick example. This is a Swiss Garden Resort. Now, this is in Malaysia. I spend quite a bit of time in Malaysia. You can take a look at the retail price here. Now, this would be a listing price that says PW. This is per week, over $1,200. The member price inside here is going to be $287. And these resorts, again, these are pretty remarkable resorts. So with that, what I'd like to do is just go over how one could be rewarded by choosing to align with 4Oceans. This rewards plan is usually, it's quite remarkable. Again, this would be us using and recommending the main feature, which is the learning management system, and the benefits, which is travel, that the company has to offer. Now, there's 9 different ways that one can earn within. Before I do this, Shane, is there anything that you would like to share in regards to the 2 offerings we talked about so far?
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I've actually, just to reinforce what John was saying, him and I, we sat together and we did comparisons with hotels.com and Expedia and just booking, travel options and flights and vacations. And, I mean, the average savings on what you can get with the Explorer is, it's mind-boggling. It makes it realistic and affordable for most people to travel now. It's unprecedented as opposed to anything I've seen so far. And I've been going through the personal development curriculums, and I teach personal development. I'm all about it, and I'm just telling you right now, it's 100% on point stuff. It's like a classroom. It's really enjoyable. It's really engageable. They give you things to do, and it's I myself, I always have coaches and people training me, and the stuff that they've got on here is world class, guys. So I guess those are my two bits. John, I'll let you get back into the compensation.
Thank you very much, Shane. I appreciate that. And by the way, if you're wondering how on earth these guys can do what they're doing, well, keep in mind, the Explorer already has an active membership of more than 50,000 people. So it's really just numbers. And if you are a company owner and you can bring these kind of numbers to Hilton Hotel and the Hyatt and other chains, well, of course, you're going to get some access to some pricing that, Resort or Hotels.com and Expedia, of course, they have access as well. They're just not passing those savings on to the individual, but we have the ability to do that. So let's really quickly blast through the concept here as to how one can earn. If you're not familiar with the idea of home business, this certainly falls into the domain of network marketing. This idea of network marketing is simply sharing ideas, sharing products and services with the people that matter to you, and giving them or facilitating them to share them with the people that matter to them. That's really it. So the compensation plan that we use is one that's called a binary compensation plan. If you have some experience with a binary compensation plan, one of the best things about a binary is I begin my business, the growth of my business, by simply adding two friends that would love to benefit from the features or services that 4Oceans offers, or save money with one of the features or services that 4Oceans offers, or would like to put a few dollars in their pocket by sharing those features and services with others. So when I do that, when I share this with Shane, for example, the first thing that happens, I earn what's called sharing bonus. And depending on how Shane chooses to get involved, remember we said a $197 one-time setup fee or a $297 one-time setup fee? Well, I'm going to earn 15% of what Shane invests in his 4Oceans business. So that's either $30 or $45. I get that for every person that I share the concept with. The second thing that I can benefit from is something called the 5% beginner bonus pool. Now, what I love so much about this beginner bonus is, as you could imagine, anytime anyone new starts doing anything, they're on a bit of a learning curve. And the most challenging time for anyone in anything is when they know nothing, when they're starting at scratch. The beginner bonus pool is designed specifically for these people that have had no experience, that are starting right from square one. And what they've done is they've sponsored 2 friends into their business, and that's the first qualifier for the beginner bonus pool. And the second thing is that fledgling little business of theirs just needs to continue to grow. Now, whether it grows through their efforts or the efforts of the 2 friends they shared their business with doesn't matter. In other words, you can earn this beginner bonus pool even if you do a little bit of work in the beginning and then you get busy and are not working on your business, but it's continuing to grow. You will continue to earn the beginner bonus pool. And what it does is it guarantees that in 4Oceans, you're going to earn a minimum of $1,500. So you're going to earn your money back from the program and then probably 3 or 4 or 5 times that. Okay. The third way we earn is something called a dual team. Now, the dual team is exactly this binary we talked about, left and right, implying dual, two. And the dual team part of my business can actually pay me, as it grows, up to 25,000 US dollars every single week. Now, obviously, that would put you in the top 1% of income earners in Canada, and a very, very happy place to be indeed. So number 4 is something called a dual team check match. Now, the idea of this is I've picked Shane, for example, and I've picked another good friend to share this concept with. If I invest, let's say 4 or 5 or 6 hours a week of my time, and I help Shane be successful in his business, he starts earning dual team pay. And I'm going to start getting what we call a check match. In other words, if Shane earned $4,000 in one particular week of his business, and Shane has been supported by me, Shane has been sponsored or enrolled by me, I'm going to get a 10% of his earnings. So I'm going to earn $400 for that particular week as a bonus on top of all my other earnings. Okay? So really, what it does is it's another incentive to do what we already do anyway, which is help the people that matter to us. Now, number 5 is a bonus pool, and it's taking 4% of all the money everywhere in the company, in every market that we're open in, whether it's Hong Kong or whether it's Russia or whether it's Portugal or UK or wherever it happens to be. When those dollars come in, 4% of all of that goes into a bonus pool. Now, what I want you to take a look at is number 6, just for a moment. You can see some of these ranks. Our first rank, everybody starts as a partner. And then you quickly move to the rank of manager and then regional manager and national and so on. So you can see on that list, regional manager would still be considered a beginner rank. People can get to the regional manager rank very quickly. Any of you listening, if you choose, you could choose to become a regional manager in your first month of building your 4 Oceans business. Now have a look at number 5 again. You can see you're already into the global bonus pool only at the rank of regional manager. But more than that, of that 4% of all the money in the company, a full 2% or 50% of the bonus pool is going to those individuals that are regional managers. So the idea here is to put money into the beginners. You can see, remember the beginner bonus pool, number 2, and now this regional manager bonus. Get money into the hands of individuals that are just learning, that are just developing the 4 Oceans business. That's going to create a strong business, as opposed to what sometimes happens within the industry is these big bonuses are saved way at the end for those individuals that are already making a lot. Now, the lifestyle bonus is exactly what it says. You can use that to build your business. You could use it as a car. Some people are treating it as a car bonus. I know our people in the Philippines are doing exactly that. Again, as a regional manager, many of you will hit regional manager rank your very first day. Well, your very first day now, you're already earning $100 a month. If you're spending the $49.97 monthly maintenance, you're already earning double what you're spending your very first day. And you can work your way up to $2,000 a month as a car or lifestyle or some other bonus to help facilitate your business growth. So the last 3 ways we earn. Number 7 is a leadership check match. Now, number 7 is very closely related to the dual team check match we were talking about earlier. So remember, I support Shane's business. I'm earning 10% of his dual team business. Now, the way number 7 works is as Shane's business grows, he's earning a dual team check match, 10% of all the people that he brought into his business. Now, what's more than that, though, I now can earn up to, if you take a look at number 7, up to a 100% match of Shane's dual team check match. Now, that caps out at 30,000 US dollars per person per month. So as you can imagine, this leadership check match can get very large as time passes and more people want to use the travel search engine or want to use the curriculum or want to share the business opportunity with friends. So it's important you understand number 4, that 10% is not just for the people I've personally sponsored like Shane, but as my business evolves, it can actually pay me 7 generations into my genealogy. So in other words, I'll start earning a 10% check match from the friends that Shane shared the program with, the friends that they've shared the program with, 7 generations deep into my business. And Shane will explain to you when you're talking to him what a generation is versus a level and how much larger this will be. The rank elevation bonus number 8 is simply, it's a cash bonus. I shouldn't diminish it. It's almost $1 million cash bonus. So it's very significant. And again, I want you to have a look under the $925,000 in green. You can see it says $25,000 for national manager. Again, this is what we would consider an intermediate rank. Okay, after regional manager is national manager. So anyone who's determined could hit national manager in their first 90 days of building this business, no questions asked. And already, as still one would consider a novice or an intermediate, you're accessing now $25,000, which is the first of the bonuses, and then a $50,000 bonus, a $100,000 bonus, $250,000, and then a $500,000 bonus. Now they're offering these to you very early in your growth. So the way they can afford to do this is they're breaking those bonuses down into segments. For example, national managers, you're receiving that over 5 payments. So it's $5,000 a month for 5 months. If your rank drops below national manager, you do not lose a $5,000 payment. It's simply put on hold for you. When your business goes back up to national manager, those $5,000 payments start again. If you happen to proceed to vice president after national manager before you've received all 5 of those $5,000 payments, well, guess what? You start receiving $5,000 payments now for vice president every month. You get 10 of those, and then $25,000 payments for president, and so on and so forth. So they stack on top of each other until you've earned the total $925,000. The last one is called the Stay the Course. This is an opportunity for a family of 4 to receive airfare and all-inclusive vacation anywhere in the world once a year, every single year that you're part of Four Oceans. Okay? This is paid for by the company. It's a bonus to you because you're going to be doing so much business building that this is an opportunity. Sometimes when we start new business ventures, it's really our family, our loved ones that suffer the most because we start getting pulled in all different directions. This is a great opportunity just to stop that for a week, go and explore the world with the people that are most important to you. So with that, I will wrap up by saying these 9 very unique ways we get paid are really quite remarkable, and all of them are very lucrative. I'm excited about each and every one of them. I have to admit, I have a really warm spot right here in my heart to the Elevation $925,000 bonuses, but I love them all. So what I would say to you when you're speaking with Shane, simply let him know whether you're ready to work on the program with us or if you need a little bit more information. The idea is very straightforward and simple. It's technology-based, which so many people are excited about because many of us, don't consider ourselves marketing or salespeople. I'm certainly one of them. I've become comfortable with the idea over years of doing it, but my background, Shane knows my background is photography. So I grew up drumming and photography. So behind the drums or behind the camera, I wasn't the guy that was quite comfortable talking to big groups of people, but it's a muscle like anything else. It's a skill you develop. The idea though is this. I would always focus on sharing something of value. If I feel I'm bringing value to a conversation, the great thing about Four Oceans is I can give things away for free. There's another free offering Shane's going to make you aware of right now that will make this very, very easy to start generating conversations about the Explorer engine and about the learning management system. So with that, I would like to thank you very much for your time and attention. I look forward to meeting you in person sometime.
Awesome, John. Thank you so much. And just a little tidbit on that. When people get started with the Explorer option, you're actually given 10 vouchers worth $200 that you can give to people that they can use either towards a vacation through the back office there, or they can use that towards their enrollment. So it's a massive offering. I love the fact that we can start off with free. We get to give people 21 free days of happiness. We get to give our friends and family a $200 vacation credit. These are very powerful tools that can help us grow a very substantial business. And, maybe personal development isn't for everybody. Maybe some people will get on this because they just want the travel deals. Either way, there's exceptional value on either front. So I thank you guys for paying attention to this. And what we're going to do next is I'm going to take over with my screen here, and I'm going to end this recording, but I'm going to help you guys see how I can walk you through to get actually started. So thank you for your time. And John, thank you very much.
See you, buddy. Thanks, everyone.